Hey guys, it's Lisa from Turning Pages, and today I am reviewing The Pledge by Kimberly Derting. This is the first book in her trilogy. Kimberly Derting also has the Body Finder series, which is I think a 4 or 5 book series. I have read the first 3 books, I believe, and really enjoyed them. I also have had the chance to meet Kimberly Derting in person. She, a couple years ago, came to my local Barnes & Noble, and she signed my Body Finder series. This book is actually also signed, but just because I bought it at Barnes & Noble, an autographed copy, and there it is. There's her signature. If you don't know what this book is about, it's basically about a society where people are divided into different classes, and these different classes each speak a different language. They obviously all have a common language called Inglés, which is basically English, I'm assuming. It looks just like English is kind of spelled. Whatever. They have one common language, and then each, section of society has a different language. And if someone is speaking in a different language, you're not allowed to make eye contact with them, and it's this whole big deal. If you are in a certain section, you can speak the common language and you can speak your own language, but you do not, and you cannot understand the other languages of the different sections and the different classes. But the main character in the story can. She's not sure why, but she can understand languages of all different classes, as well as languages she's never even heard of before, which is super cool. Her name's Charlene. She goes by Charlie. I think she's 17, 16 or something like that. She's in kind of a middle class, so she does have a few classes below her and she does have a few classes above her. Besides going to school, she's also a waitress in her dad's local restaurant with her best friend. And they basically just make some money there, they go to school, they kind of live a normal life besides the fact that they live in this society where there's really strict rules about language and speaking other people's language or making eye contact or responding in any way or how. Also, there's a tyrant queen who basically rules by, harassing and abusing and murdering her own citizens. And she is dying. The queen actually has these amazing superpowers where she can choke people out without ever even moving. She can do all kinds of different things, and she has actually been the queen for the last couple of centuries, because every time a new queen is born, she basically switches bodies. So she leaves her body and moves into that younger queen's body, and she relives the entire scenario all over again. In this society, only women rule because only women are the ones to get the superpowers, and the royal line is dying out. So the queen is actually having a hard time finding somebody. She doesn't have a daughter. She only had 2 sons, or I think she had a son and who got married but only had 2 sons himself, so she has 2 grandsons. And one of them is still working for her while the other, or is that too much information? So she doesn't have any daughters or doesn't have any granddaughters to take over the throne. She is out, she knows there is an heir out there and she is looking for her, but doesn't know where to even find her, if she's even in her kingdom or if she's in the outskirts. So she starts sending people out to search for her and to look for her, and who does it turn out to be? While Charlie is a little bit more to herself, her best friend Brooklyn, who is also the waitress with her at the restaurant, is a little bit more outgoing, a little bit better with guys, and definitely enjoys dating and talking to soldiers, and decides to take Charlie out to a club one night. This is one of the strangest nights Charlie's had. She runs into this really nice guy who has 2 friends who speak a completely different language than she's ever heard before. And she's curious as to who he is and where he's from and why he's here and why he's so interested in her. She also then walks to a back room after leaving him by himself, not really feeling too well. I think she either drank or ate something that kind of made her feel a little bit nauseous or confused or unaware of the situation around her, and she decides to go into one of the back rooms of the club, where she bumps into another guy who is being kind of strange, saying all these weird things and telling her that she needs to go, and he basically leads her out of the room. Just completely awkward and completely weird and just confusing. He's actually leading the rebellion, along with a few other characters who I'm not going to mention because I want to leave that all up to you, but she definitely sees an entirely different side to this society and to the way the government is run, and that people don't fully believe in the system, and that people disagree with it, and that she's never seen anything like that before. She's always been told to be quiet about her powers, and she's always been told to abide by the rules, and she's always been told to do what she's been told. So I think I kind of gave you enough of a taste what The Pledge is about. I absolutely love Kimberly Derting's characters and her stories. They're always so different and always so interesting, and definitely books that everybody should be reading. They're so good, and the endings are always just... I do have to say that I'm a little disappointed by this cover. I feel like it doesn't give any... Like, if you look at it, it could be about anything. I would assume it's about a witch. I feel like that's what a witch would wear, one of those capes with the hood. I wouldn't really assume anything that's in the story. Does that make sense? I feel like this cover just doesn't give anything away about the story inside, which is kind of upsetting because there are so many different factors in this story that you could easily incorporate onto the cover that'll really catch someone's eye. I know you don't judge a book by its cover, read the synopsis, read the book. I get that. But still, as a selling point to a customer, you need to have something there that will pop out of that bookshelf, or that will catch your attention, or that'll give you a little glimpse of the story. And this cover just doesn't do that. It just doesn't. It doesn't even do it on the second book, and I'm almost sure it doesn't even do it on the third. I don't have it with me right now. It's on my shelf. But these covers are not doing anything for me. That's, I think, the most, like, upsetting for me, is that the cover just is bland. But the synopsis is amazing. The story inside is amazing. The characters are amazing. The ending is so good, and definitely makes you want to pick up the second book right away. It's not one of those where you're like, I'm kind of satisfied, so I'm just going to go ahead and wait to read the second book. No, you need to read the second book once you've read this one, which is what I crave. I don't want to read a book where I'm kind of like, that was good enough. Why would you want that? No, you need to continue reading, and this book does all that for you. So definitely recommend The Pledge, and I loved it, and I loved the essence, and I cannot wait to read The Offering. So that was basically my review. If you're interested in reading my more detailed review on my blog, that'll also be linked down below, along with my social media, my Etsy, and all that other stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I enjoy doing these reviews simply because I can actually talk to you, like person on person, and I don't feel like I need to reword myself or edit and delete and then pick a better word. I feel I can just talk to you like a normal conversation, even though you're not really responding. So I'm kind of like having this conversation where I'm just hogging it. But you can definitely leave your thoughts down below, link your review. I would love to check it out and love to see what you have to say. So yeah, just leave it all down in the comments, whatever you have to say. And I will see you in the next video.